We are Tailgate Talk. Welcome into this special episode. I'm Matt Thomas. With me, as always, we got Kyle Mawini, Trent Williams, Kyle Schumann. We're going to the Rose Bowl. I would have liked to have used some corny California song, but copyright won't let us do that. So we'll just go right into it. We're going to the freaking Rose Bowl.
Awesome. I mean, I feel like it's been known now for like a week now, at least. I mean, since the news broke. So it's not like quite as exciting, but it's still like awesome. I mean, we are going to the Rose Bowl. New Year's Six, we would have been happy with to get the granddaddy of them all. Can't ask for much more out of this season.
Yeah, especially when some people were predicting us to go 8-4. Who would have done that?
Oh, wow, interesting there.
Who's those? Who's that? Who are those guys?
Technically, I said 9 wins. So 2 weeks ago, I was like 51-49, 8 wins. Now I'm probably like maybe 55-45, 9. So does it make it any less appealing the fact that Ohio State and Michigan both get into the playoff?
No, I mean, two teams from the same division in the conference that is our division just tells you like the type of, I mean, the Big Ten East, it is the best division in college football. I mean, you could argue the SEC better conference this year, but I mean, two teams in the college football playoff from the same side of the division.
Not according to the playoff committee, but like, yeah, we knew this was the path all the time. But then when that nugget was floated this week that Ohio State wasn't going to take it, even if they were offered, it was kind of like, okay, now we can get the best of both worlds. So the fact that they get into it kind of feels like that the Thanos meme, like what did it cost? Everything. It's just like,
but it's one of those things where if Ohio State and Michigan both win, we can make the argument and say, oh, we lost to the two teams that played for the national championship. It's like one of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I'm hoping they get crushed. Like it made me sick to have to root for Michigan last night. Like
it doesn't. So you don't get it. Like no, no Michigan Ohio State. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Michigan Ohio State championship would be pretty cool.
I don't care. I hate those teams enough that I don't care.
That would be phenomenal. And honestly, I'm rooting for Ohio State. Like I hate Michigan. It's hard to root for them, but I think the Big Ten needs to get over its pride, and maybe one of the reasons there is that SEC bias is because they are just on the same page. They're always rooting for one another when they're not playing each other. They're rooting for the conference. With the path that we're going in college football, where you do have like, it's sort of becoming these two mega conferences. And I think that's sort of the route we need to take too.
I don't care. We can tout we had two teams from the same division in the playoff, but I hope they get smoked. So, but anyway, let's talk about our game, because I'll tell you what, I think our game is going to be one of the better ones of the New Year's Six, like even potentially some of the playoff matchups. So, I wrote the instant reaction piece or whatever for Basic Blues yesterday, sweating out a little bit Purdue last night when they were pulling within 9 in the fourth quarter. But so I did a little research on Utah. Like, they're a pretty damn good football team. Like, they're top 10 offense, like in pretty much most major categories. Defense wise, like, it is scary how similar these two defenses are. Like, the style's a little different. Like, we're more aggressive, I think, overall, but it just, like, statistically, they're the same defense. So it's gonna be good.
I think people saw it in the second half of that Pac-12 championship game, where yet Caleb Williams put up his numbers primarily in the first half, but that second half is just literally all Utah. It was
that's the other part that scares me, though. They have a mojo to them. Like, they really do. Like, you noticed it last year in the Rose Bowl, this year against Florida, even though they lost. Like, they are a tough team, and they play like very, very tough.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, watching, I mean, having not really watched too much of Utah this season, the championship game was my first like full in-depth look at them, and they're a physical football team. And worries me a little bit, just because I feel like Michigan's probably the most physical team we've played this year, and that's the one game that we did not show out for. That being said, Utah is not Michigan either.
Yeah, Pac-12 tough is a little different, but it's probably going to be the second most physical team we play all year. So we'll see. I mean, it's you want to talk about wins and losses, but the Rose Bowl is the kind of stage that it elevates you regardless. Like, the fact that we're in this game does so much for the program, as opposed to, the Cotton Bowl again against Tulane or whatever. Like, it's a big deal. it's a big deal.
It is. It is a big deal. And honestly, the way it shakes out now, it's like I almost would have rather had made it not knowing that we were making it, even if Ohio State didn't get in. Like, it just would have felt better that we got in because, we were the best team to get in that was left versus like, even if Ohio State didn't get in, we were still getting in. But that's like very minor. I mean, I'm just stoked to be going. Me and Kyle are going to the game. We already got pretty much our plans all booked. Our flights are booked. Tickets are requested.
Tailgate Talk on location part 2.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, last game we went to together was Auburn. So if it's anything like the last time Tailgate Talk was on location, we'll be in good shape.
Coco might not come back. He strikes me as a California boy, so
he does.
He might just stay out there, become a surfer.
I don't know. I think
ladies will love him.
Surfer. I mean, look at this guy's hair.
Well, Winnie too, but I mean, I think. But
that's why I wasn't invited yet by Trent and Kyle. They're saving their invite for me.
So I mean, I can't wait. It's we were talking a little bit before, but it's a bucket list game. It's something that I think every college football fan loves to see, especially the Big Ten specifically, since we do have that tie-in. It's a huge deal for our conference. It's probably the hardest bowl game to get to as a Penn State fan, being all the way out in LA when we're all the way over here on the East Coast. The tough part about any bowl game is, you have a month's notice, less than a month's notice. Like, we didn't know definitive to like till today that we were going. And now it's like in less than a month, you got to have flights and all that are so much more expensive when you're talking a short turnaround time. So,
not to mention the time of the year it is too, right in the heart of the holiday season.
Yep,
that's what makes it tough. That's what makes it tough. And like
we all turn to de facto travel agents. We're like, okay, I found this flight here. We can stay at this hotel, or we can rent this car at this time, or whatever. So everyone's like doing one thing or another, trying to get everything to work out.
And it's even tougher, just like when it's somewhere that you've never been before, or you have no one that you've ever been before. Because like when I was looking earlier today with potentially driving in from Phoenix or something, it's like, all right, well, how's parking going to work? Like, where are you going to take the car? Like all that kind of stuff. It's just like, it's crazy. There's so many unknowns, but it's exciting at the same time. So.
I think one other wrinkle that like the casual fans may not know until they looked at the game right now is that the New Year's Day, like when the Rose Bowl traditionally is, like it's not playing. This game's not playing until the second because college football doesn't want to have to deal with the NFL Sunday and stuff like that. So the federal holiday's the second, so that's when like the Rose Bowl is, and trying to flying back the day after then. So
yeah, it honestly threw me off a little. Like when I was first looking at possibly going out there, it's like I had to double check. I'm like, oh, what is this game the second? Like it threw me off a little bit, but then it made sense when I thought about it.
Yeah. Shoot, I just lost my train of thought.
Doesn't matter. We're going to the Rose Bowl, Trent.
Yes, we are.
Potentially the last traditional Rose Bowl because the Rose Bowl hosts the semifinal game next year for the playoff, and then 2024 the New Year's Six Bowls end up hosting the quarter and semifinals. So last potential Big Ten Pac-12 matchup in a partnership that has been around since 1947. So it's going to be a historic game one way or the other.
Yeah, and we're going to be there.
So
me and Kyle, anyways. Maybe Winnie's not a definitive no. He's in.
We're working on it.
Matt, hey, the least passionate fan of all of us.
Last year, I would have thought there's no way Winnie goes, but he shocked me when to all those games this year. So Winnie's full of surprises.
Yeah, well,
Winnie's keeping it that way too.
Winnie's a fad guy, so he has this year, and then next year he'll die out.
Just personally, I would love to see 3/4 of us be at the Rose Bowl, and Matt, the quote unquote, die hard, is the one not there. So
it's just status quo. He didn't go with us to Auburn.
Kyle will get just another game on him. Yeah, he wasn't at Auburn.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When my mortgage is paid off in 2052, I'll be there. So. Yeah, so you got to make responsibilities. Maybe one day the three of you will meet a lovely woman and settle down, but probably not. So
why not both?
Yeah.
I don't
bring her with me.
Well, hey, you got to get one first.
I'm with Coco here. Accounting is the path. 3 accountants. Accounting's the path.
All the listeners out there, considering
Alex, I love you so much. Let me treat you to a nice trip out to California. Watch Penn State together. I think she deserves it.
Do it, then it makes it easier for me to just go solo. So
all right. Back
Yeah,
to
we
the
want to.
football.
So let's touch on the bittersweet moment of this. Maybe we dropped 3 spots in the final rankings from 8 to 11. Um, I mean, again, it doesn't matter, but it does. So in the grand scheme of things, you win, you're gonna still be a top 10 team when the season's over. But it's just the whole. It's just the we've been talking about it offline this whole weekend. Like the committee just their logic just never adds up. Every time they do one thing, you can point to 3 other examples from the past 5 years where they do the opposite. So it's frustrating, very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
feels like, whenever they say like they value something, they turn around in another instance and it's like, oh, that's not as important, and they value something else more, but then that what they valued there wasn't valued somewhere else. Like, it's hard. I mean, I understand that. It's you sort of do have to create this narrative every year to like explain yourself, but every year is different. So it's hard to like create this clean cut. A committee is what it is. Like, it's always going to be this
Subjective.
conversation that's subjective between a bunch of committee members in this room making these, like, it's not like the NFL where it's this clean laid out path to here's what you got to do to win. So until we have that, which we probably never will, you're always going to have this.
And
oh, sorry, Mike.
go ahead.
I was just say I don't think the committee took they have all these different alternatives, different options every year about what they think is important or not. But I guess they didn't take into account Nick Saban's "please let us go into the playoff" speech that he was like campaigning on all the different networks. Like, oh yeah, we'd be favored against these teams, like per like Las Vegas books or something like that. That's like pretty much what he was saying. It was actually pretty funny to watch. It was sad, but pretty funny.
It was. I said that last night. It felt sad, like how far they have fallen.
Please let us come. Please let us come.
Alabama's
guys.
high and mighty, and now Nick Saban's on his hands.
It's just funny because
begging.
like Alabama fans think that like the cultural world like rotates around them, and like now it doesn't.
I'll tell you what, though, I imagine that discussion behind those doors was a lot closer than it seems.
I like to think it wasn't, but it probably was.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Like everyone's going off with how great the 12-team playoff is going to be, and it's going to be fun. But like you're still going to have this committee that's still going to be making these decisions, and you're still going to have these problems. Like we've been talking about.
But I mean, it's less of an argument. I mean, when you are getting into that 12 through 14 range, like it's not the same as arguing 5.
I think today we just showed the perfect example. Like now, granted, there's a little bit of a sticky point with how the buys work, and it's the highest ranked, 4 highest ranked conference champions. But we went from potentially looking at having a home playoff game, to, if this was the 12-team playoff, having to travel across the country to play a team. Or so like it does matter. It very much does matter.
But again, you're never going to change that. So the bottom line is like you have 5 conferences, 5 Power 5 conferences, where 2 teams are playing an extra game than everyone else at the end of the season every year. I mean, unless you get rid of conference champions, you're always going to have this every year. It's not, something like this doesn't exist in the NFL. They all play the same number of games, and then they all get into the exact same playoff structure. So when you have this extra game, as much as we're talking about how much the committee like changes things, looking at the top like the rankings today, there's not much I really hard fast disagree with.
But the only one I disagree with is USC. But then you argue, oh yeah, but they actually made their conference championship, but they got smoked.
Yeah, but again, like it's just the logic of it. Like Alabama, Tennessee go up even though they don't play. We don't play. We're right behind them. We go down. That's the whole thing. Like, okay, if we would have been 11 this whole time, like if we would have stayed 11 last week, 11 this week, okay, that's fine. It's the logic part of it more.
Yeah, I get it, but you can't you can't silo yourself on a single thing. Like you have to take everything as a whole. And yeah, you can look at conference championships, but then I mean, let's face it. I mean, we're Penn State fans. We can admit we don't have a single quality win on our schedule. Like we played 2 good teams. Both of those teams
was good.
Yeah, and both of those teams we lost to. We put up a great fight against Ohio State. We lost. Michigan, we got killed. Purdue, I mean, Auburn, like there's these teams just don't jump off the page. And that's sort of why I feel like we fell the way we did. you can't take that into consideration though until those conference champion. Like you can't just assume these conference championship games and take that into the rankings before it happens. So like you can't say, oh, let's leave Penn State at 11 because once the conference champions are played, they're going to move back anyways. Like you can't look at it like that.
Tell you what, those wins against Arkansas and Mississippi State real jump off the page too. You know, let me tell you.
So
Sorry.
do you think that, like you're saying about getting rid of the conference championships, do you think if we almost take the route that the SEC is looking at of just kind of getting rid of the East and West and putting it all together, that would help?
That's what 100% what the Big Ten should do. They should do it next year. The fact that they're hurting the conference by not doing it next year.
That's what I'm thinking.
So, but it's the Big Ten. So what do you expect? All right. We wanted to make this a quick episode. Does anybody have anything else we want to hit on before we wrap up and with pick your plate and get out of here?
You guys still hear me actually?
Sound like you're in a fishbowl, but yeah.
My microphone's not working right now. I was playing around with the button. I pushed the wrong one, I think. So trying to finagle it.
I don't remember that pick your plate, that over under on Coco's mic, but I think I would have taken the over. So I lost that one.
But yeah, we only have the one game this week for pick your plate. It's the fun Army-Navy game played every year after bowls are announced. It's in Philadelphia this week. It's always a fun game to watch. Army's favored by 1.5 in this game, and the over/under is a whopping 33.5. Love those option offenses, is slugging it out. Who do you got for the troops this week?
Coco, just put your comments in the chat, and then I'll speak it so we don't have to hear the fishbowl anymore.
How bad's the fishbowl? Is it bad?
It's pretty bad. But,
it's
all right. Tough it out. I'm going to the Rose Bowl. I don't care. I'll be in the fishbowl. I don't care. Actually, all those roses in my mouth. It's so befuddled, like they can't hear me.
Okay, hang on. This is a family show. So, Winnie, what do you got?
It's tough. I got boys on both sides of the fence. I know my great grandfather and my dad used to always put $1 on this game too. Looking at it, since it is a closer matchup compared to some of the prior years, I'm gonna go with the kid that's still in and go with Navy. So sorry, Nate.
So
what do you got?
Did you say me? The fishbowl can't hear. So
wait, over or under? Oh, you're going over. What am I saying?
Yeah.
I'll take over.
It could be 65. He'd still be going over.
Army Navy. You're gonna put it on for the troops.
Army's probably the stronger team, but my sister-in-law is in the Navy, so I can't go against the
there we go.
The Naval Academy, so I got to go. And Service Academy unders. Got to take it. You got to take the Service Academy unders.
I'm taking America in this game. So every year, Kyle, it's like clockwork. Kyle watches this game. He's like, throws out this little comment. It's like, boy, I feel so safe watching this game. Like, you look at these guys, and they're
so big.
Every year, that comment comes out like clockwork, and it's just, I love it. But that being said, I got to go with Uncle Ron and Army for this one. It's just what I got to do.
Ron.
Go Ron beat Navy. Trying over or under?
Under.
My dad was in the Army, so I'm going to ride with the Army. And I'm also going to go, like Matt said, Service Academy unders. They're like I don't know the exact stat, but they're like crazy in these games. So I'm just going to ride with the under.
They pretty much always hit. I appreciate how we all based our opinions on nothing football related. So
they run the same offense. What we got to base it off of?
That tailgate talk analysis. But all right, let's get this thing out before the 20-minute mark.
No last call. I wasn't sure if we were doing last call today.
Nah, let's skip it. Screw it. We're going to the Rose Bowl.
And I prepped the question too.
My question is, are you going to the Rose Bowl?
Yes.
All right.
We all are. We are going to the Rose Bowl.
I'll be there in spirit. Or fly spirit.
Matt probably is a wedding. He's like, oh, guys, I'm at a wedding trying to watch on my phone. What's going on?
Hey, if we win 41-12 again, I'll do it. I'll take that sacrifice for the team.
Only 3 of us in the podcast picked us to go to a New Year's Six Bowl this year. Just remember that.
Yeah, that was a bad pick, Matt.
Do we make a New Year's Six Bowl this year?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm going yes. Okay,
I'm trying to think back.
Really? I can't.
You were the one that didn't pick a New Year's Six.
Can't be disappointed. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. So,
you just don't know Penn State football that well, clearly.
That's probably
or care.
That's probably what it is. I'm just glad Coco gets another game that he can try to figure out who all of our starters are. So, all right, stay tuned with Tailgate Talk for the next couple weeks. We're obviously going to have a little bit of a different schedule with the off season coming and the bowl season coming up. So, but we will cover it all the way through. So until next time, we are Tailgate Talk.